Life as a social media star must be pretty sweet, but that doesn't mean the road to success is always easy. Need proof? Just ask Alix Earle. Alix Earle's family became headline news in 2008 when an affair between her dad, Thomas T.J. Earle, and a former call girl became public knowledge. The relationship hit headlines because the call girl, Ashley Dupre, had also engaged in an affair with Eliot Spitzer, then governor of New York. Earle's family suddenly found themselves swarmed by paparazzi, but the future influencer, only 8 years old at the time, was kept in the dark about why it was happening. In fact, it wasn't until 2 years later that she finally discovered the truth, which she explained during an appearance on Alex Cooper's podcast, Call Her Daddy.
I'm Googling my family, and all of a sudden I see that the past 2 years of my life had been a lie.
Although the news of her father's relationship came as a huge shock, Earle is glad that her mother decided not to divulge any details at the time.
My mom was super mature about it and didn't speak to us about it and didn't put that stress that she was going through onto us.
You might expect that a high school teacher would be sensitive to a student if their family's private life had suddenly been plastered all over the media. Unfortunately for Alix Earle, she had the misfortune to be taught by one teacher who appeared determined to call attention to the scandal. While appearing on Call Her Daddy, the influencer recalled one of the most mortifying days in her life, when her teacher began discussing the Eliot Spitzer prostitution scandal in great depth.
I remember my classmates looking at me and laughing because this was about my family.
One of the most emotional moments of the podcast, Hot Mess with Alix Earle, came when its host candidly discussed the eating disorders she struggled with in her sophomore year of high school. As with many teenagers, peer pressure was a contributing factor. Earle recalled how her friends would spend thousands of dollars on the latest fad diet.
I went from someone who had a very healthy relationship with food very quickly to someone who did not.
Earle first began significantly cutting down on her portion sizes before developing bulimia.
All I wanted to do was get those thoughts out of my head that were making me feel so guilty about the food that I just ate.
Thankfully, the TikToker eventually stopped binging and purging, and thanks to her supportive friends at the University of Miami, now has a much healthier relationship with food.
I eat what I want to eat, and that has me in such a better place and in such better shape, and my body is so much healthier than it ever was.
Alix Earle is renowned for being one of TikTok's most transparent Get Ready With Me stars, and she has often been open about her issues with acne. At one point, Earle was dealing with a significant cyst, but she was told by her manager that she needed to film a sponsored video for the platform. Speaking to Elle about how she felt at the time, the influencer remarked, "I didn't want to post anymore because my skin got so bad." And I was like, well, now I feel disgusting. I don't want to be on camera. However, Earle eventually realized that she could help others going through a similar situation by publicly sharing her problem. She said, "I found a little community, and I loved answering everyone's questions in DMs." And because of her refreshing honesty about everything from concealing tips to dealing with Accutane side effects, Earle ended up accruing more than 2 million new followers by the end of the year. In 2023, Alix Earle documented her experiences attending the US Open, one of the tennis world's 4 Grand Slam tournaments. Living up to her candid reputation, Earle posted a TikTok in which she revealed that she'd suffered a panic attack at the New York event.
I thought I was going to have to go home. I thought I was going to have to call 911. I felt like I couldn't breathe.
Earle then offered her #1 tip for anyone who suffered a similar ordeal.
I know this is super hard, but I like to tell someone that I don't feel good, that I'm having anxiety.
Earle has often spoken about her anxiety in general, including the fact that she's been taking medication since her high school years. As she explained to Hollywood Life, "I've shared the good, the bad, and the ugly, because that's just life and what makes us human, no matter what age you are." While there are many pros to becoming a podcast chart-topping, football player dating, TikTok sensation, there are also several cons. And Alix Earle found out the hard way that one of them is a complete lack of privacy. While hosting a 2024 episode of her hit podcast, Hot Mess with Alix Earle, the influencer revealed that she's had to cut several friends out of her life because they've betrayed her trust. She remarked about a so-called pal following her split from MLB star Tyler Wade.
She was at a bar saying oh, I'm Alix Earle's best friend, and was telling them personal secrets about like my breakup.
Earle also recalled the time another former friend sent nude pictures of her to others without her consent, including a future beau.
I was like, do not send that, do not send that. And this person hit send.
Earle admitted that she now keeps her friend group much smaller. If you need help with an eating disorder or know someone who does, help is available. Visit the National Eating Disorders Association website or contact Nita's live helpline at 1-800-931-2237. You can also receive 24/7 crisis support via text. Send NITA to 741-741.